podcast where I kind of just talk about anything, or where I just like react to anything I see on the internet and I just give my opinions on it. So let's jump right in. The first one I saw was that should like OSU, or I guess in general like teams in the Big Ten, should they be more worried about Michigan next year or Oregon? And personally, I think Oregon, they've been on a recruiting run this year. They got their quarterback from where would it be, Oklahoma, I think. Yeah, Dylan Gabriel, and then they got a wide receiver also. I think from Texas A&M, and some other great guys who I haven't even mentioned. And to be honest, they're looking pretty good next year. Dan Lanning is going to be a hard coach to face against. He's kind of been working on Oregon for a few years now, and I think that'll help him out a lot. I think Michigan has definitely downgraded, specifically in QB and their running back, and also a decent bit at the O-line. So I do think Oregon is probably going to be more scary. Along with that, Michigan's recruiting hasn't been amazing recently. Compared to Oregon's, it's not really as good, so that's another thing. With that being said, though, I think Oregon has a chance to be a bit overrated just because, I think the media likes to hype up teams before the season a lot. Oregon's kind of had that happen before, like last year. They lost a couple games they probably could have won, and, they were really close, but still. They didn't win the Pac-12 last year, so there's still a little bit of skepticism I think you could have with Oregon. I think people see how good they are and just think that they go up in talent, like from last year. But honestly, since they lost so many people, I don't know that that's necessarily the case for Oregon. So, I think Oregon is going to be more scary, especially in like future years. But, don't necessarily fall for the media hype on Oregon. I'm high on Oregon, but I'm not that high, I think the media likes to glaze them a lot, so that's my take. But yeah, Oregon is probably more scary next year. And then I saw this thing that was talking about the top 10 college football stadiums. It had Ohio State at the top, then Penn State, Michigan, LSU, Tennessee, Florida, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, and UCLA, which is like the Rose Bowl. So pretty much I think if this list, it doesn't really specify, it's kind of weird, but I'm assuming it's just based on overall stadiums, not necessarily like how loud the stadium gets, because if it was on how loud, I don't think Ohio State should be at the top, and I think, maybe not Florida or UCLA, obviously, because UCLA has no fans. Stuff like that. The list would be a little bit different. But overall, for stadiums, I think that is honestly good, because I like that they have Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, all top three. I think for a lot of lists, you can have those three as like the best three stadiums, and either way. They have Ohio State at number one because I would assume because of its history, it's probably its best factor. And I probably agree with that just because, it's over 100 years old already. And, yeah, it just looks pretty cool. Penn State's and Michigan's don't have as much, like, architecture as Ohio State, so that's probably why they're lower. But they're still really big and really good stadiums. And then LSU at 4 might surprise people, but honestly, I think that's fair for LSU. Maybe a little bit too high, honestly. Tennessee is a good stadium. Florida is a good stadium, but Florida's is a little overrated to me. It kind of looks outdated. Like, I know that's weird to say, but, like, it doesn't look very nice for, not being, like, super, super old. And then Oregon I liked because it gets pretty loud, even though it's only, like, 54,000 or something. But it looks sick. I like how it's, like, unique, so I think that's a good placement. UCLA, which is essentially the Rose Bowl, because I don't really think about the Rose Bowl as being UCLA Stadium, if I'm being honest. I think UCLA should probably be higher just because it looks so cool. It has, like, the mountains in the background. And I think because of how iconic it is, it should definitely be higher on the list. And that kind of gets me into the third reaction that I have on a post that I saw that was talking about bowl stadiums are better than indoor stadiums. That's what they said. And I think it depends, honestly. I think both stadiums are better because they can, like, see the outside, and if they're in a scenic area, it'll look probably way better than, something that's just covered on the top. I think it's just more iconic for college football. I feel like indoor stadiums are more of like an NFL thing. I think one thing that makes college football so unique is that there's teams all across the country with like very unique weather and different parts of geography on the map. So there's a lot of different terrains that stadiums are in, and I think because of it being like an open or bowl shape, I think that being able to see outside is really cool. And I mean that doesn't really mean bowl stadiums are the best, because I would say, like the bigger stadiums that are like somewhat bowl but also like tall, like Tennessee's or Penn State's, Michigan's, Ohio State, something like that is probably better than bowl stadiums that are like really flat out and just like in the ground, kind of in a circle, kind of like like cows or something. But overall, I do think that bowls are better than indoor stadiums. I think it's just more college football esque than an indoor stadiums, and also there's like not that many indoor stadiums in college football anyway. So I know like Syracuse has one, and some other like maybe D2 or FCS schools. But that's my reaction Monday. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any posts you want me to react to or anything like that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.